I get very upset when people call me things like social justice warrior. Don't, please, that term is too uptight. Do not call me a social justice warrior. I prefer social justice jihadi. SJJ, yeah.
Comedy since I was about 14 years old, and I remember meeting this headliner in a dingy bar in Union City. When you're a 14-year-old in a predominantly 30-year-old workforce, people are easily able to brush you off, like, who is this little white girl? Get her out of here, right? But when I met your headliner, he saw me, he took the time to talk to me like a normal person, and he changed my life from there on out. And now he's on a world tour going around the country changing everybody else's lives, one city at a time. I want you guys to give me a lot of energy as we bring up your headliner, Sammy Obeid!
What's good? Give it up for my friends who opened tonight. We literally showcased every different kind of white guy this city has to offer, and we did that for you. Thanks for that intro, Damien. If interpreted the wrong way, that could have sounded really creepy. You know what I mean? He was like, I was 14, I was at a bar, he was the only one who took me under his wing. I call him Uncle Diddy. He's a great guy. Thanks, Damien. Thanks, it's beautiful. San Francisco, how we doing, huh? 3:30 p.m. show for you. For you. I did that for you. Y'all gonna get in bed at 7 tonight. It's gonna be beautiful. Oh, I know my crowd. I do. I've been doing stand-up for 17 years, and I finally got fans about a year ago. And thank you. Thank you. I've been working on being a nicer person. I've been starting more of my sentences with respectfully. Yeah, it's been a game changer. You start a sentence with respectfully, you can say pretty much whatever you want after, and people can't say you weren't nice about it, you know? Like last week, I literally told the guy, I was like, respectfully, you can shut the up. And he was like, agree to disagree. And then he punched me respectfully. It was a great exchange. But yes, I actually used to be a math teacher, if you ever wonder why I come across condescending. Thank you. I'm working on it, respectfully. Yes, I majored in math, that's why I do stand up. Yep. And I begin every show talking about math so that nobody complains when I talk about other stuff later. You know what I mean? No one's ever like, please go back to the math. Nobody ever does that. And it gives me leeway to basically talk about whatever I want, okay? I do get a lot of complaints about this. One guy recently came up to me after a show. He's like, I didn't come to the comedy show to use my brain. I was like, I'm sorry for using words. He was like, I want my money back. I'm like, okay, how much do I owe you? He's like, damn it, and that was it. I was doing math jokes in Louisiana, because I like taking risks, and oh, shut up. Respectfully. And nobody was laughing except one person. And she came up to me after and she was like, what's your favorite math theorem? I was like, ooh, talk nerdy to me, right? I was like, let's see, Pythagorean. That's me flirting, Pythagorean. I thought I was smooth. She was like, ew, and then she walked away. I was like, what's... Not the response I was expecting. I thought we were gonna like nerd out together, but apparently I crossed the line with Pythagorean theorem. You know what was weird too is I was standing right here and the door was over there and she walked away like that and like that. I was like, just go like that next time. Some of you finally got it, like right now. That's awesome. Some of you laugh like that, some of you laugh like that, and then like that. That's cool. But you got there eventually, that's the point. I'm glad you guys like that. Louisiana didn't, so. Yeah. I spent time at a lot of places because people ask me to come to cities and I come to them. You know, people are like, come to San Francisco. I listen to the people. I listen to the people, I do. Also, I'm right across the bridge, but it worked out nicely. I did like a month in Canada, Canadians, I call them unarmed white people. And sorry, not sorry. I did an entire month in Europe because people were asking me to come to European cities, and some I've never even heard of, and like I couldn't go to all of them. They're like, come to Cologne, or come to Dusseldorf, or Tel Aviv. Like I've never heard of these European cities. All right. That was a test joke. We did math, and then we go to that and see how that goes. But yeah, I did my first ever Middle East tour, and I know a lot of people don't like it when you call it the Middle East because it's a colonial term, and it's not even the East, nor is it the West. I call it Middle Earth. It's a great place for second breakfast. Yeah, it is my precious. And I was really excited. About a year and a half ago, a promoter out there was like, hey, want to come do a show in Dubai? And I was like, cool, I got 3 fans there, let's go. And he's like, cool, here's the contract. I'm going to get a theater. I signed the contract. He's like, cool, now you pay for the theater. I'm like, I should have read the contract. And I ended up putting basically my life savings at the time on this theater. I was not expecting it, but unfortunately, yes, you got to read the terms first. And I was really scared because it was a big risk. I've never done a show in Dubai, but you know, I put the money down. I just had faith, and we put it out there. We put it on sale, and people started getting tickets right away. I started to feel more comfortable. But this was like a year and a half ago. So shortly after we put it on sale, suddenly there were calls in the activist community to start boycotting the UAE, where Dubai is, if you didn't know. People were calling to boycott the UAE, not only for their role of being complicit in what's happening in Gaza, but also their role in Sudan, okay? The UAE has a horrible role. They're funding the RSF, which is basically spurring the genocide in Sudan. And so these are all fantastic reasons to boycott them. However, I was a little preoccupied. Because suddenly everyone's like, whatever you do, don't give the UAE your money. I was like, I just gave them all my money. Nobody prepares you for situations like this. But my belief is that you always have to do the morally right thing. So I'm like, I gotta do the right thing, I gotta stand in solidarity with the people, and I'm gonna cancel these shows. And so I decided I'm gonna cancel these shows and do the right thing. But I do have fans there, and I do have to keep them in mind. So I decided to reach out to them and kind of comfort the blow. I didn't really want to tell them straight up, I just kind of wanted to feel it out first. So I reached out to a fan, I was like, hey, how would you feel if I cancel the show in Dubai? And she was like, no, I already got tickets. I've been looking forward to this my whole life. I'm like, I'll ask someone else. And I reached out to another fan. I was like, hey, how would you feel if I canceled the show in Dubai? She's like, I had cancer till I started listening to you. I was like, oh, shit. It's the wrong sample here. And then I asked another fan, and they all more or less started to say the same thing. They're like, Sammy, we love you and we follow you because you talk about Palestine, okay? That's what we stand for. We love that you talk about Palestine. And we here in Dubai, most of the people here support a ceasefire and support a free Palestine. We just have a government. And I'm like, I have no idea what that's like. I was like, can't relate at all, you know? Sounds like a personal problem. But I eventually realized that yes, we often do stigmatize other countries because of the actions of their government, when really in a lot of these places, the people there do support the good causes that you and I support. So I realized, you know, also I'm from America, I'm not really in a position to judge, you know? And then I started to look at everybody who's calling me to boycott the show, and I was like, where are you? And they're like, Jersey. I'm like, okay, well, I need to think about like, what is the morally right thing to do here? And I realized, you know, I already paid for the show. These are good people. They want me to come perform and talk about free Palestine. So I should just go and I should perform for the people. And I realized this is a mission for the people. And I need to let the world know that. If anybody gives me shit, I'm gonna put my foot down and I'm saying, no, this is not for the government, this is for the people, okay? That was the decision that I made, yeah. And literally the day I put my foot down and made that big boy decision, Macklemore cancels his show in Dubai. And everyone's like, hero! I was like, damn it, Ben! I call him by his government name when I'm pissed. Yeah, he just canceled the show. But like, Macklemore was doing the Coca-Cola Arena, okay? That's like double haram, you know what I mean? But he canceled that show and everybody's like, that's how you do it. That's a real Palestinian right there. I was like, oh, this is not good. It's not gonna end well. So I was like, you know what? I gotta cancel the show. I gotta do the right thing. I gotta cancel the show. I still gotta reach out to the fans. So I reached out to the fan. I was like, hey, I'm canceling the show. I'm sorry, I'm canceling. She's like, no, I won't let you. I'm like, what the f*** are you gonna do to me? And then I reached out to another fan. I was like, hey, I'm canceling the show. She's like, didn't you already pay them your money? I'm like, don't rub it in, please. She's like, well, you're not giving them any more money. I'm like, I'm not planning on it. She's like, well, then why don't you just come here and don't buy anything? I'm like, yeah, that's kind of hard. It's called Dubai. You go there, you Dubai. But I realized, you know, I could tough this out. I mean, I did already pay for it. These are good people, so I might as well just go, perform for the people, not buy anything, and donate proceeds to Sudan. So that's what I decided to do. I'm gonna do that, pack my own snacks. I just packed a suitcase full of baby carrots and got on a plane to Dubai. And I was actually surprised. The moment I landed in Dubai, the first thing I saw was a building with a Palestinian flag just waving on the top of it. I was like, that's amazing. They do support the people. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Then I looked over at another building. I saw another Palestinian flag just waving up top. I was like, that's amazing. They really do support the people. Then I saw another one and another one. It became like an unwanted DJ Khaled song. You know, it was like, another one, another one, another one. I was like, wow, they really support Palestine. Then I just looked a little bit more closely. It's just the UAE flag. They got the same colors. Like, oh, we were so close. But it made me realize, like, the UAE, you got the same colors as the Palestinian flag. Like, show some support for your brothers and sisters over there, you know what I mean? You're part of the watermelon gang, you know? And people were like, you better be careful, they're gonna censor you over there. But then I got to the venue, and the promoter was like, you can talk about whatever you want. I was like, you didn't have to say it all creepy like that. I was like, whatever I want? I was like politics? He's like, oh no, not that. Not that. That's all. I was like, what about dirty jokes? He's like, no, not that. I was like, what about the government's role? He's like, no. I was like, fine, I guess I'll just do math jokes. He's like, they will not like this. So I had nothing. I just asked people how long they've been dating for, and that was haram. It was all bad. It was just... I ended up talking about vegans for like half an hour, and sorry vegans, you took one for the team, I know. I have nothing against vegans. Vegans are good people, okay? They don't kill animals, all right? They can kill a vibe, obviously, but they don't kill animals. And if that makes you upset, don't prove the point, okay? Just roll with it. You took one for the team with me in Dubai. But yeah. It was difficult operating under censorship. That's why I was really relieved when I got to Egypt. And Egypt. Oh, let me tell you about Egypt. That's a spectacle. All right, there. I'll tell you. Egypt is a wild place, dude. I only get scammed like 93 times. And most of it was by the government, actually. And yeah, Egypt is crazy. Like, you'll be on the freeway, everyone's just going 1 mile an hour at the same time. I looked to my left, there was like kids on a skateboard going faster than me. I looked to my right, there was like a cat on a motorcycle. I was like, yep, all right, sure, whatever. And I got to the show, and I thought they were gonna censor me like a little bit, but they didn't say nothing. They said nothing to me. They didn't tell me any restrictions. I got on stage, and 2 minutes into my set, the promoter gets up from the back. He's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, there is one thing you cannot talk about. I was like, wow, great timing, thanks. Maybe before the show next time. Like, I hope it's not my name, because I already said that. We're kind of screwed. He's like, no, you can say whatever you want, just don't mention our leader. I was like, oh, the guy at the top of the pyramid, huh? I don't know what you're talking about, huh? The problem was he said it in front of everybody, and my crowd tends to be kind of the rebellious type, you know, right? So naturally they heard him say, he's like, don't mention our leader, and they were like, do it, do it, do it, do it. Say his name, say his name. And I'm like, wow, you guys want me to die. That's amazing. That's no loyalty to your comedian friend here. Just want to sacrifice me for some content, okay? But I had to do something to impress them because they're my fans, you know, but I didn't want to go to jail. So I was like, you better think of something clever real quick. So I was just like, respectfully, I don't appreciate a lot of the actions of your government, okay? But I am visiting from America. Can't talk a lot of in that department. But I don't want to go to jail, so I do have to follow the rules, okay? But for the record, I'm not doing it because I'm scared, okay? All right? I'm just doing it because I don't want to go to jail tonight. I want y'all to get a show, okay? Y'all remember that. I'm not scared, okay? Yes. For the record, Sammy Obeid ain't no sissy, okay? Yeah. And that was my last show in Egypt, so. Their leader's name is El Sisi. But cliff notes will be provided after the show. But then from Egypt, I headed over to the only democracy in the Middle East. Yeah, Turkey. Yeah, beautiful country. Half the population is cats. Yeah. It's literally like half cat, half human over there. So it is kind of like an apartheid in a way. You know what I mean? It's like a half cat, half human apartheid. It's an apartheid. That's one of the most adorable geopolitical jokes you'll ever hear. Apartheid, okay? You can tell that one to your grandma. And then from there, I was supposed to close out the tour in Beirut, Lebanon. The shows got canceled. I'm still not sure why. Apparently, I need to start checking with bombing schedules before I perform. Yeah, I was really upset that the Beirut shows got canceled because half my family's from there. I have a lot of Lebanese pride. Yeah, both my grandfathers, my jiddos, my dad's dad is from Beirut and my mom's dad is from Beirut. My parents aren't cousins, I checked. But yeah, I recently did my genealogy test. I couldn't afford a 23andMe, so I got a 22andU. I found out that I'm mostly Lebanese and Palestinian, and yep. I'm also a little part Italian. I'm a one-eighth Italian, a little sliver, a little slice of pizza Italian. So I got a little bit of the Luigi in me. A little bit, yeah. I was a straight A student. Never really loved CEOs. Might have a 3D printer at home. I won't tell you. Okay? But yes, I'm Lebanese, Palestinian, Italian, AKA the Mediterranean platter. Blood is pure olive oil, okay? I really feel like that background is where I get my sense of humor from. Because even like the little bit Italian, like I have like 1/8 hand gestures in my set. It's just a very, you see it every now and then. I sprinkle it, just very nice. And then the Palestinians have the dark sense of humor. Yeah, Palestinians need the dark sense of humor to cope. Yeah, like a Palestinian will say something to you that will shock you, and you'll be like, ah. And they'll be like, that was funny, right? That was funny, right? And you'll be like, yeah, oh my God, yeah. Are you okay? No, but that was funny, right? That's how Palestinians get through it. It's a dark sense of humor. And then Lebanese have like a deflective sense of humor as well, but it's more of like the delusional thing. You know, the Lebanese just pretend that things aren't happening. Like, yeah, everything's okay. You know, like you hear bombs just turn on Feiruz, like, huh? But that's what I love about the Lebanese. Like, the Lebanese are fun people, man. The Lebanese are fun people, okay? They love to have a good time. Lebanon itself just has like a party energy to it. Okay, here's how you know Lebanon has like a party energy. Jesus' first miracle, turning water into wine, happened in southern Lebanon. Yeah. If you don't know, now you know, okay? That's where it happened, southern Lebanon. That was miracle number 1, okay? Before that, JC was just a regular guy. And then one day, he's just walking in the desert with 2 jugs of water. All of his followers like, hey, Jesus, what's up with that water? He's like, relax, bro, just chill. I got a plan, don't you worry. Just keeps walking in the desert, finally gets to the Lebanese border, just steps right over, boom, it turns into wine, just popping bottles all of a sudden. A DJ comes up from the sand dune like, yalla, 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 yalla. Dudes just pulling off their sandals and dancing, dub key. A guy pulls out a candle, makes a strobe light, like, just full on party, dude. Like, was it even a miracle or was it just Lebanon? Yeah. It's just a vibe, you know? It's a vibe. And you know there was like one dude in the back, like, Jesus, good party, but next time, more fish. More fish next time, please. Yeah. My dad grew up in Beirut. I asked him what he did for fun as a kid. He was a little too honest with me. He was like, we would smoke hashish and chase each other in the parking lot. We called it hashtag, like, oh, come on, man. Oh, that's good. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag Baba jokes. Hashtag. Yeah. I love being Lebanese. Love being Italian. I love being Palestinian. I love being Palestinian because it's the one identity you bring up and it's instantly controversial. Right? It's like, I'm Palestinian. Ooh, what's he gonna say next? Yeah. But I love that I can just bring up being Palestinian and suddenly everyone's like, oh, you know, it's like, ooh, I'm naturally edgy. Like a polygon. But I'm a polygon. What's good? Polygon, get it? It's a shape. Yeah. Polygon. It's a new shape. How many sides would a polygon have? 2, the river and the sea. Yeah. Relax, it's a geometry joke, okay? Or is it geography? I get those 2 mixed up. Yeah. Might be geology, because we love them rocks, you know what I'm saying? It hit. And I'm out, polygon. You know? Good. Yeah, growing up Palestinian in America, we didn't have the best PR, you know? So I always had to let people know, like, hey, I'm a proud Palestinian. This is what a proud Palestinian looks like, okay? Yeah, and I'm very friendly, okay? Yeah, I'm Palestinian and I'm your friend, okay? I put the pal in Palestinian, okay? Yeah, we're great pals, we are. We're a fun time. You want to play catch? Great throwing arm, you know what I mean? Need a foundation under that house? Good at digging, yeah, man, good. We can get down there. Want to go paragliding? Okay, I won't go that far. But the point is, we're good friends. We'll remember your birthday, okay? We won't forget things that happened 76 years ago. Yeah. I told the guy my family's from Palestine. He was like, Palestine? That's a made-up country. I was like, what? He was like, Palestine, that's a made-up country. I was like, I heard you the first time. He was like, yeah, I heard Palestine's a made-up country. I was like, yeah, like any country? What country is not made the up? That's how you get countries. You make them up. Yeah. It's actually a lot of fun. Step 1, you make up a name. Step 2, you pick a jingle and a dance. Step 3, you pick out colors for your flag. And if you can't wave that flag in certain places, you find a fruit that resembles the colors, you post it on social media. Sometimes you fake it till you make it. I asked this guy, I was like, what's your name, man? He was like, Clarence. I'm like, that's a made-up name. You might want to check in with your parents, bro. I think they don't made that up on you. I've been explaining this to Americans for many years. Palestine is a very real place. Palestine, formerly a British colony. Huh. Reminds me of a country I know. America? Who would have thought? Same stepdad? Step pop, still at it, dude. Yeah. I lived in Hollywood for 15 years, and I was trying to pitch a TV show that would educate Americans. Oxymoron. Educate Americans on Palestine, and nobody wanted it, shockingly. Yeah, nobody wanted an educational program on Palestine, sadly. But I got close, though. They almost let me do a show. They were going to let me do a game show. It was supposed to be a game show hosted by Drew Carey. You know Drew Carey? Yeah, it was called Whose Land Is It Anyway? And it was better than my first idea. Deal or no deal. But too real for some people, I get it. But I really did want to do a show like that because I realized that Americans, they always see the situation from like a land ownership perspective. Whenever you talk to an American who knows nothing about Palestine, they're like, well, who owns the land? Have you checked the deeds yet? Like, is that easy? Like, just check the deeds. Like, who owns the land? It's probably me. Like, that's the attitude that Americans bring to the situation. I remember one time my Jewish friend and my Arab friend were getting into a debate. It was getting very heated, and my white friend thought he could, like, save the day. Yeah. He was like, all right, guys, let's settle this. I'm like, don't use that word. He was like, just tell me, who was there first? I'm like, don't ask that question. That's wrong rabbit hole, okay? Also, not how you solve a land dispute by asking who were the first people there, okay? Because spoiler alert, it wasn't you, okay? It wasn't your dad, it wasn't your granddad. That's not how land works. It wasn't you, right, California? It wasn't you, okay? Thank you. It's nice to be here on the Ohlone Nation, so. Thank you. It wasn't you. That's not how land works. But if you want to play that game in this situation with the Holy Land, we actually can. It's been documented. We know that the very first human beings to occupy the Holy Land were, in fact, tribes that emigrated from Africa. Yeah. So black people, that's all you. Yeah. Or by looking at this San Francisco crowd, if you know black people, please let them know it is time to reclaim their land. Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be a good move. It would stir up things in the right way, you know? It would be like a new birthright program, you know what I mean? Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love my Middle Earth brothers and sisters, but I would love to see a strong black woman just go on down there and just be like, Shlomo, Muhammad, Yeah, I mean, it's like, shut it down, you know? Haven't tried that yet, that's all I'm saying. But yeah. That's what I realized. Got some water real quick. I realized that whenever people know nothing about the Israel-Palestine situation, they always kind of say the same thing. They're always like, oh, Israel-Palestine, it's just two people just fighting over land. That's all it is. It's just two people fighting over land. That's all it is, just two people. It's like, yeah, it's a little more complicated than that. It's also a lot more simple. Really, the situation in Palestine is really just a human test for morality. That's all it is. It's a human test for morality, okay? A test that we keep failing, but a test nonetheless, okay? Because if you look at what happened in Palestine, you look at 1948, before and after, the Israel-Palestine situation, whatever you want to call it exactly, it is the literal embodiment of the classic saying, two wrongs don't make a right. Exactly what it is. And here we are, 76 years in, on the 7 millionth wrong. And it's like, how many more wrongs until we get this right? When do humans learn? You can't fix a wrong with another wrong. If you wrong a wrong, you get a wrong. And if you wrong that wrong, it's a wrong wrong. And if you wrong that wrong wrong, it's triple wrong. You keep doing that, it goes on for a wrong time. It's an old proverb. Really, we don't need any more wrongs. Okay? We as humans, we need to learn how to get a wrong. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Okay? And the way to do that is by making things right. And the easiest way to make things right is simply by giving people rights. Okay? When you give people rights, they can do right. And rights are very powerful. They undo all wrongs. It's a phenomenon called right supremacy. There's a better name for it for sure, okay? But right privilege, right power, we'll figure it out later, okay? But rights are out there working, okay? Rights, because a right undoes a wrong instantly. If you right a wrong, you get a right. And then if you right that right, you're doing a good job. And then if you right that right, you've now made a left. You've gone a little bit too far, okay? But one more right, full circle, baby. Ready to stack rights on rights till everything's all right. Yeah. And I'm sure there's people who think I'm wrong, but that was incredibly hard to write. Yeah, my TV show never got picked up. I tried. I never made it. So I decided that I was just going to continue talking about Palestine in my stand-up. And thank you. I've been doing that for about 15 years now, which explains why most of you heard about me about a month ago. It's been a slow burn. But a lot of people have been following me over the years, and I really do appreciate that. And a lot of people have been following me for the wrong reasons as well, just to kind of like hate on me, but it's more engagement, so it works out. I literally get asked all the time, because I have not stopped talking about it, so people are like, why do you keep talking about Palestine, Sammy? Why do you keep talking about Palestine? I'm like, well, it's not resolved yet. That might be part of the problem, you know? Also because most comedians don't. You know what I mean? Like, most comedians, like, they don't even touch the subject. And we're living in a time now where, like, comedians are out there, like, wanting to be edgelords. Like, I say whatever I want. I say whatever the fuck I want. Like, what about Palestine? Well, it's a little tricky. So I'm like, fine, more for me, okay? More for me. I'll take the jokes. You're just gonna leave them there on the table? I'm gonna take them. I can't not take these jokes. Really, I treat comedy about Palestine like an illegal settler does land of the West Bank. Like, if I don't take this, someone else will. Yeah. That's a direct quote. His name is Jacob. Some of you might know him. People are like, wow, you're actually pretty good at this. Well, I do it for an occupation, so. Yeah, people are like, well, end your occupation. Yeah, let's do that. You know what I mean? Let's do it. End me. the subject actually works in comedy just because it's so edgy. Like it's a subject where you can say true things and it will upset people. It will piss people off. Like if you say that Palestine is occupied, which is true if you understand definitions. But people will like fight you on that. Like, no, Palestine is not occupied. They're not occupied. Like, what do you want me to say? They're busy? It's the busy West Bank. It's peak business hours in East Jerusalem right now. It's a subject where people flip on their morals, both on the left and on the right. That's the beautiful symmetry to it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like on the left you have progressive accept Palestine. It's like, yes, human rights, everybody, we care about human life, but Palestine thing's a little tricky, It's a little tricky, And then on the right, you have freedom of speech, First Amendment, say what I want, but River to the Sea is a little offensive, don't you think? I find it a little bit offensive. It's hypocrisy on both sides, and that's why it unites our Congress. You know what I mean? It's the one bipartisan issue for the wrong reasons. Yeah. That's why Congress is able to move dumb legislation on it. In 2024, the House passed this crazy bill that is attempting to limit our freedom of speech on the subject of Palestine. It has some wild things in there. They're trying to ban the phrase "from the river to the sea." Yeah. If you're not entirely aware, "from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free" is simply, end of sentence, right? "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free" is a call for liberation of occupied people. And people that are largely under occupation because of our tax dollars. So it actually is very relevant to us, and they're trying to block us from mobilizing to call for the end of the oppression of people who we're actually responsible for oppressing. So it's actually very demonic that they're trying to block it. And they already banned the phrase in Germany. Yeah, when I went to Germany, I had to be like, from the one body of water to the other body of water. It was very confusing. People didn't know what water I was talking about. But they banned it in Germany, and they're trying to ban it here in the United States. Here's a rule of thumb. If Germany does something, maybe don't do it. You know what I mean? Kind of a hot take, okay? Except maybe the Autobahn. Let's look into that one, but you're just gonna ban "from the river to the sea"? What a vague, ambiguous term that has a lot of contexts. You're just gonna ban "from the river to the sea." What if you're giving directions to someone on a boat? You know what I mean? You see a boat stranded out on a lake. You're like, hey, you want to go from the river to the... Whoa! Well, I was just going to say "from the river to the sea, his boat will be free." That's all I was going to say. No, you were going to say that once his boat gets out of the ocean, he's going to sink all the other boats. This is not Battleship. What are you talking about? I just want the liberation of that particular boat. That's why I said "from the river to the sea, his boat will be free." And I didn't say L5. You know what I'm saying? Listen to my language here, okay? You know who else does "from the river to the sea" in nature? A baby salmon. Yeah. Every baby salmon is hatched upstream and has to swim down the river to the ocean to fulfill its life as a salmon. "From the river to the sea" is a tale of a liberation of a baby salmon. That you eventually eat, but a salmon nonetheless. You want to ban that? Monsters. It's crazy. No, you know what? Banning that's anti-Semitism. That's what that is. We do not tolerate anti-Semitism. We don't. But I've already decided, if they ban "from the river to the sea," I'm just going to start saying "from sea to shining sea." Yeah. Can't ban that, that's un-American. And I'm sure there was a time where that was a very offensive phrase too. Yeah, from sea to shining sea. And it's actually technically true in this situation, because the Jordan River, which is the river in the phrase "from the river to the sea," it actually feeds into the Dead Sea right below it. So between the Dead Sea and the Mediterranean, you have Palestine. right between, right? So in order for those people to be free from occupation or not busy anymore, in order for those people to be free and have the same rights that you and I have, allegedly, okay? Necessarily, Palestine would have to be free from sea to shining sea, okay? So you can use that in your activism. You can say from sea to shining sea. Or you can say from sea to Dead Sea, but that's a little more threatening. I wouldn't do that one. Somebody already corrected me. They're like, Sammy, technically the Dead Sea is a salted lake. I'm like, thanks for coming to my show. And you're right, the Dead Sea is a salted lake, okay? It is a salted lake, so we can say from the lake to the sea, okay? From the window to the wall. What do you want, okay? I actually like from the lake to the sea, but I prefer from sea to lake. I like how that sounds. I like from sea to lake, because in Spanish, sea to lake is actually Mar-a-Lago. So, they're not banning that one either. Yeah, Mar-a-Lago, can you believe it? Trump's been saying it the whole time. He's been calling for the liberation of Palestinians, didn't even know it. From Mar-a-Lago, the Palestinians will be free. Except Joe Biden, he's a bad Palestinian. That joke has 34 felonies. Enjoy it while it lasts. Good, you guys are doing good. Good. How we doing? Good? You guys are doing excellent. The subject is filled with people flipping on their morals, and it's a topic flooded with double standards, right? I spent a lot of time thinking about the Israel-Palestine, Russia-Ukraine matrix. Anybody else do this in their free time? Just me and 5 people. I think about it a lot because the situations, they are different, but they're similar enough to where you could apply this rare thing I call consistent logic. Very rare concept in today's society. Because in both situations, we are definitively talking about occupied people who are essentially fighting off a bigger entity from doing a massive land grab. Right? So you would think the slightest bit of consistent logic could apply, but it's very rare. And I commend people who do it. Like if your position is Ukraine must stand up and resist occupation, and Palestinians must stand up and resist occupation. That is consistent, you know? Or if your position is like, hey, I just don't like war. Can we end these wars? Can we stop sending weapons? Stop doing it on taxpayer dollars? Let's end these wars. I understand that position. It is consistent. Or even if, and I don't agree with this one, if your position is like, yeah, oppressor, get the weak. Like, okay, that's weird, but you know, good for you. At least you're consistent, okay? You never hear that last one though. You never hear like, yeah, occupiers, occupy, occupiers, occupy. You know, you never hear like Russia and Israel doing their thing out there. You never hear that. No, what do you most often hear in the Western world, especially amongst our politicians? You hear Ukraine, stand up, resist occupation, but Palestinians, let it go. What are you doing? What are you doing? And that's like most of our Congress. That's like most of our Congress, which is crazy. Well, it's crazy until you get how lobbying works. And you're like, oh, you dirty dogs. You're getting paid to say that stuff. Isn't that crazy? Once you actually learn the truth, you realize that our Congress doesn't speak favorably of Israel because they actually like them. It's because they're getting paid to do it. Isn't that crazy? I don't know if you know this. AIPAC poured about $100 million in 2024 into our $100 million. Think about all the alternative non-Starbucks coffees you could have bought with that. You know? But really, the saddest and scariest part is not how much money they're pouring into our Congress. It's how little some of our Congress people are actually getting paid by them. Dude, yeah. Dude, some of our Congress people are only getting like $50 checks from AIPAC. It's so sad. Bro, is it that bad? Like, check in on your senators, you know what I mean? Like Venmo them something. Maybe they'll stop supporting war crimes for $50, dude. You know, they say like, oh, text your congressperson. No, like Venmo them something now. Like send them 60 or something, you know what I mean? Like, do your role in politics because, yeah, it's really sad. But in AIPAC's defense, which is a phrase that nobody should ever say, AIPAC is simply playing within the bounds of the corrupt American lobbying game, you know? Can you imagine if Russia did the exact same thing? Can you imagine if there was a Putin pack? A Putin pack. Imagine if there was an AIPAC and a PPAC out there. You have an AIPAC and a PPAC out there working our whole Congress. Each congressperson has an AIPAC buddy on one hand, a PPAC buddy on the other, just walking them down to the bathroom stall or what. I don't know what they do in Congress exactly, but check in with your PPAC buddy, you know. If there was a PPAC, our senators would talk way different. They'd be like, Russia has the right to defend itself. If you support Ukraine, you're an anti-Russite. You know what I mean? They'd probably have Putin come out and speak for Congress quarterly. You know, can you imagine that? Having a full-on war criminal come speak live in front of our Congress and get a full-on standing ovation by rabid $50 senators? What kind of monster country would do that? Spoiler alert, it was us a few months ago with the Netanyahu. But that's just what it is. And, you know, sadly, when you do look into both of these situations, Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, you do see a lot more parallels. I tell people, if you ever have like 3 hours to kill, okay, I highly recommend you watch Vladimir Putin's interview with Tucker Carlson, okay? That is fire, dude, okay? It's all in Russian, you'll learn nothing, okay? But you see a lot of things. You see to what great lengths Vlad goes to try to convince the world why he has the rights to their land. You're like, oh, this sounds familiar, you know? And then he spends 2 hours of the interview giving his version of Russia-Ukraine's history. Pretty sure he made it all up. I'm not exactly sure. I can say for sure he gets very creative. Putin writes like a full-on screenplay right there. He's like, okay, external scene. Siberia. 3,000 years ago. Bear fight wolf. Bear win. Russia begin. Bear drink vodka. It was a good day. End scene. Scene 2. Siberia, 2,000 years ago. Bird suddenly fly out of sky and take fish from bear hand. Bear say, who are you, bird? Who are you, bird? Bird say, I crane. He say, Ukraine, and this is how it all started. It's exactly that for 2 hours. It's so crazy. Now, admittedly, I don't know as much about Russia-Ukraine as I do about Israel-Palestine. I will admit this, okay? But I do know enough to know that this recent war with Russia-Ukraine, it could have either been prevented diplomatically or at least stopped a long time ago before now by our country, the United States of America. Okay? I know this. We have the power to end such wars with a phone call. Yes, somebody might have had to dial it for Biden, okay, but we know this. And that's why I was actually really sad when the war started. I saw so many people cheering it on like it wasn't just like another horrible war, you know? I saw people I know, even who like I share similar progressive anti-war values with, even people I know who self-identify as woke, saying horrible shit, like just like, yeah, f*** Russia, yeah, Ukraine, get them, yeah, Ukraine, join NATO. You know what? I'm gonna join NATO. You know what? Let's all join NATO, have a NATO party. I was like, what the f*** are you talking about? Like just cheering on NATO like they're the good guys. Like, do you even know what NATO stands for? I had to look it up too, okay? Okay. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. You ever heard the term North Atlantic before, used in any other context? No, because North Atlantic is code for white. Yes, look at the Atlantic Ocean. There's a lot of countries, most of them are not white, okay? A lot of them are not white. But you look at the list of NATO countries, it's all white countries, okay? Except Turkey, but Thanksgiving, okay? Okay? All right? And they're trying to kick Turkey out, by the way, so that should show you a lot, okay? It is all white countries on the NATO list. Okay, no, listen, San Francisco, obviously, there's nothing wrong with being white, okay? That's not what I'm saying here. Don't ask for my manager later, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's anything wrong being white, okay? We are all equal as human beings. We are all equal human beings, okay? What I'm saying is you cannot call yourself a progressive organization or the good guys if you only represent white nations when you clearly have the option of not doing so on the Atlantic Ocean, which you claim to represent, okay? That's not progressive, okay? I invite you to look at that list of NATO countries and you'll see exactly why NATO spelled backwards is zero tan. Respectfully. All right, that was more of a thinker, okay? Okay. Good job. Okay. But all I'm saying here is this is what we do in the Western world. We create these coalitions like NATO so that we always look like we got buddies and we're the good guys. So if anybody challenges us, we can paint them as a villain pretty quickly. Or worse, what do? We call them a terrorist, right? Call people terrorists. That's our thing in the Western world. When anybody tries to challenge us, we call them a terrorist, okay? It's kind of a f***ed up, hypocritical word for us to use, you know? Because if you know anything about Western imperialism, you kind of know that is like the real terrorism on a much broader scale, okay? And I actually wanted to be 100% sure, so I looked up the definition of the word terrorism. I was like, it's time, I'm gonna look it up. I wanna find out what it is they've been saying I do this whole time, you know? And I looked up the definition of terrorism. It'll blow your mind. The definition of terrorism is using violence to achieve a political goal. Oh, America's never done that. I laughed out loud when I saw that definition. If the definition of terrorism is using violence to achieve a political goal, America is the biggest terrorist country of all time. Of all time. If that offends you, change the definition or change history, okay? Because that is what we specialize in. That is what we specialize in. And I noticed that when I say this in the United States, people kind of, they get a little taken back. You know, they're like, ah, I'm not a terrorist. Don't call me a terrorist. Stop calling me a terrorist. I am not a terrorist. And it's like, relax, I'm not calling you a terrorist. I'm not saying that you're a terrorist, okay? I'm simply saying that you're a terrorist sympathizer, okay? That's all I'm saying. You're a terror simp, as the kids would say. You're out there simping for the tea. Yeah. Listen, it doesn't have to conflict you internally. You can be aware that if you live in the United States, you're part of a global terror regime. You can be aware of that. It doesn't mean you can't love your country and not want to make it better. In fact, I argue that you cannot make your country better unless you actually know about the dirty shit we do overseas. I argue that you don't actually love your country if you can't call us a terrorist, okay? Because you gotta know who you love. You gotta love who you know. And this doesn't have to like change your internal value structure. Like if you still want to use the word terrorist, you can, but you got to use it consistently, right? Like if you want to call a one-person suicide bomber, or as I call them, a one-man band, if you want to call them a terrorist, that's fine, okay? But then you also have to call the drones dropping bombs on entire nations terrorism as well. Because it's all terrifying to the people who receive it. I mean, at least give the small guy credit for acting locally. I thought we support small businesses. You gotta admit, they're more creative, that's for sure. That's why it's called terrorists. It's terror artists. It's a ist. It's a ist. It's like a barista, terrorista. You know what I mean? How do you want your terrorism, grande, right? Like, it's a f***ed up word to use. When we use the word terrorist, it's very hypocritical for us to use in the West if you know anything about our history. But the word terrorist is also racist. It's also racist. And if you don't believe me, it's very quick little proof. Okay? Just close your eyes for one moment. Okay? I'm not gonna blow myself up. That's not the point of them. You're looking at me like, no. That's not like, and boom, and now you get it. And that's not what I was trying to do. Okay, if you're not scared, if you can just close your eyes for a moment. Okay? All right, now I'm gonna say the word terrorist. What do you see? You're racist, exactly. So that was simple. Most of us saw the same guy. Okay? And don't worry, it's not your fault. You know, the media has trained you to see it that way. And so I invite you from now on, when you hear the word terrorist, I want you to look at who they're talking about. Whether it's in the media or casually in conversation, look at who people are talking about. It's almost always going to be the same type of person. It's going to be brown skin, Middle Eastern, Muslim person, or Luigi for some reason. It's going to be, they threw Luigi in there. They're just like, whatever, they all use olive oil or whatever. So. And yes, occasionally people do call Trump supporters terrorists, but they call them domestic terrorists. You know what I mean? Like they're the domesticated ones. And we're like the wild ones out here, you know? We're like the feral terrorists, you know? It's like, we're the terrorists, you know? It's messed up. It's messed up. But it's definitively a racist word. Case in point, in this country we have mass shootings. That's like our national sport right now, okay? We're killing it. No, we are now at the point where we have shooters of all races, so we do believe in DEI shooting, okay? Celebrate the victories if you wish, but yes, so occasionally you will have a Muslim shooter, and when you do, what happens in the media? They drop that T word so fast, right? They're like, this was an act of terror, or was he part of ISIS, or has he been radicalized? Like, don't bring math into this, okay? Leave math out of this, okay? But then when you have a white shooter, which we do occasionally, let's be honest, you just don't hear that T word. You just don't hear that T word. What do you hear? He was a lone wolf, you know? Or he was a man on a mission. Yeah, a man had a manifesto, you know? Or mental health is important. Let's talk about mental health awareness. And it's like, yay, good job. Good job for finally realizing that mental health is important. Congratulations, America. I'm glad you finally realized that it actually matters that we have a healthy mind. Congratulations. Good job. No, seriously, good job. Mental health is very important. It is. Mental health is extremely important, and I'm glad that we are finally embracing it. But why is mental health only coming up when we're talking about white villains? Okay? Why can we not equally apply the concept of mental health to our fellow brown villains who also could use the therapy? Okay? And I know some of you think I'm just calling racist for no reason. I assure you, I would not just call racist if I didn't have a punchline. Okay? This is a real point I'm making. I'll ask you this. Have you ever in your entire life heard this? You know, Osama bin Laden, did he have like depression or something? Maybe it was like seasonal affective disorder. That's why he was so sad. He wasn't getting enough sun. You know what? September is now Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's do that. Let's never forget. September is now Mental Health Awareness Month. Yeah, somebody should have checked in on Saddam more often, you know? Maybe if Saddam had more friends, it would have like lifted his mood a little bit, you know? Like, call your friends today before they become the next Saddam, you know? No, you don't hear anything remotely close to that, okay? Meanwhile, there's like 3,000 documentaries like, was Hitler okay? Like, shut the up, dude. Shut the up. Stop making documentaries about Hitler's mind, okay? At least make a few about Osama, you know? But it's a racist word. And you can ask anybody who looks like me, or anybody in this category. We don't even feel comfortable getting angry in public because people see that terrorist trope in us. We don't have the same freedom to public bursts of outrage like the rest of y'all. Yeah. I'd like to take this moment to give a special shout out to white women, okay? Yeah, I see what you do. No shade, it's admirable. I see you out there showing your anger in public, you know what I mean? Asking for upper management when you can. You're out there working. I'm jealous. I believe that is the level that we should all aspire to and that we could all be one day as a society. I believe that. I do. And that's my goal. I want to be a Middle Eastern man, Karen. I do. Yeah. I want to be a Kareem, okay? Yeah. I believe I can be a Kareem, okay? But right now I feel a little limited, you know? Because if I'm in line at the bank and the line's too long, and just like anybody else, I get angry at the line being too long, you know? Just like we all do. I can't show it. Because if I show it, I'm like, fuck this place, man. Fuck this place, man. Fuck this place. Somebody's gonna see like, oh. If you see something, say something. I see the terrorist coming. He probably wants to blow himself up and blow this whole place up. And it's like, I do, but I'm not going to, okay? I just have the thought like a normal human being does. What normal human being doesn't want to blow themselves up at the bank, okay? It's a normal human emotion and I'm allowed to have it. Okay? It's messed up because this trope makes it seem like we are angrier than other people, okay? We are not angrier than other people, man. We just have weird shaped eyebrows, so it reads a little differently, okay? That's all it is. It's eyebrowism. It is. Isn't that messed up? How much eyebrows relate to terrorism? Look at Luigi. Look at those eyebrows. Look at those eyebrows. Isn't that messed up? The difference between a terrorist and just an angry guy is plucking. It's so messed up. We gotta pluck and wax our way out of this is what we gotta do. I hope you do understand why the word terrorist is racist. And people try to flip it. They'll be like, how come every time there's a terrorist, it's a Muslim? Because you fucking call them that, motherfucker. You're the fucking one out there perpetuating that. So really, we have two options at this point to make the word unracist. We can either call everyone a terrorist equally, anybody who does a violent act, and you're a terrorist, 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 you know? And if that doesn't work, jihad. But I'm kidding. There's one more option before that. The other option, which I like and I think we could try, is we take the word terrorist back and make it cool. Who's with me, kids? Come on. Yeah. Where my terrorists at? Come on. Where my terrorists at? Yeah. Good. I love that's the sound. That's the call of the wild right there. Yeah. I can sense there's people skeptical. They're like, this is not gonna work. Listen, let's take notes, okay? Let's take notes. Black people did it with the N-word. They made it work, okay? Yeah. Oh, uncomfortable white crowd. I see. Oh, yeah. It's true. They made it work. They took the word back. They made it work. We might have to cut off the hard T at the end, okay? Take notes, right? Like, what's up, my terrorists? You know, does that make it? My terrorist. Terrorist, please. You know what I mean? Like, we can make rap songs like Terrorists in Paris. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that one's too real. I'm sorry. That was too real. Okay. Right? Or if you don't like that, we can make it more like a record scratch, like terror. Or, you know, Gen Z will come through. Like, I got killer charisma. It's terroriz. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we got options. And if those don't work, jihad. But we got options. But yes, so the word terrorist is hypocritical, it's racist, but that's not even my biggest problem with the word terrorist. My biggest problem with the word terrorist is that it is too often used by the Western world to excuse the killing of civilians. I want you to become aware of this. Look at the war on terror. What was that in effect, right? And it's not over. It's still going on right now. You know, Israel does this on a daily basis. Like, Israel will level an entire apartment complex. And we'll all see it. It's not like we don't see this. We all see the video footage. We'll see them level an entire apartment complex, killing families, like verified and reported, well, not reported, but verified civilian families. And we'll all see it. And every human being, doesn't matter what your politics are, you all have the same gut reaction, like, what the f***? You cannot be a human being and see that and not be like, what the f***, right? All Israel has to do at that point is just be like, oh no, we were targeting the terrorists. They always say it like a toddler for some reason, like, the terrorists, the terrorists were in there. Mom, the terrorists, we were getting the terrorists. Mom, the terrorists. And it's like, no, you did not get the terrorists, okay? You did not get the widow rabbit, the terrorists. You killed civilians, okay? You killed civilians. You killed children, dude. You killed children. And yeah, I don't like children that much either, but you can't f***ing do that, man. Yes, kids can like make a mess sometimes. They can be little terrorists. They can like knock over things, come into a room and just mess it up. Especially the 2-year-olds, the terrorist 2s. I understand. Kids can be little terrorists, okay? But these little terrorists deserve to live, man, okay? And I know people get uptight when I talk about this stuff. Like, oh, you're just gonna make jokes about terrorism? You're just gonna make jokes about bombs and people dying? Like, yeah, the f*** I am, dude. The f*** I am. You think I'm just gonna see this shit and not talk about it? It is not normal. We cannot just continue to let this shit happen. It is not normal. We have to talk about it. And you know what? I'm gonna make jokes about it. I'm gonna make jokes specifically. You wanna know why I'm gonna make jokes? Because jokes are the #1 form of nonviolent resistance. Did you know that? Jokes are the #1 form of nonviolent resistance. And you know who said that? I did right now, I said it right now. Jokes are the #1 form of nonviolent resistance. They're right up there with water balloons, you know? I don't claim to be a pillar of morality myself. In fact, I get very upset when people call me things like social justice warrior. Don't, please, that term is too uptight. Do not call me a social justice warrior. I prefer social justice jihadi. Yeah. SJJ, yeah. It's more fitting because I tend to take myself out in the whole process, you know? It's hard being an SJJ. You only got one shot. Mom spaghetti. Relax, I can make that joke because I'm Italian. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Free Luigi. Yeah. You know, I understand that the subject of terrorism gets murky for some people because we have a problem when it comes to occupied people, okay? When it comes to occupied people, and especially the people that we are responsible for occupying, we can no longer allow other people to stigmatize their legitimate resistance, okay? I'm gonna say that again. If you give a f*** about occupied people around the world, you cannot allow people to stigmatize their legitimate resistance, okay? And I've noticed that this is where people struggle because people don't know what legitimate resistance is and what it isn't. They're afraid of being linked to terrorism, which is, you know, a phantom word that we use. I think you're overthinking it, okay? All you need to do is ask yourself a very simple moral question. Ask yourself, if I were an occupied person, okay? If I were a busy person, okay? If I were a busy little bee out there, okay? And I lived under a brutal military occupation I was denied the rights to land, denied the rights to water. I've been evicted from my home. I've watched my home get bulldozed. I've watched my family get locked up and killed. I've watched my entire communities get bombed on a daily basis. Do I have the moral right to resist my occupier, to regain my freedom and my basic human rights? Okay. Good. Good. That's about 30% of the crowd. And that's not bad. That's a good voter turnout. My argument is, if you ask your gut this question, your gut's always going to tell you yes. In this dire situation, of course you have the right to regain your humanity like that. The problem is not that people can't ask themselves this question. The problem is that people are not connected to their gut because they're not taking probiotics. That's it. That's all it is. You need to take more probiotics and prebiotics, get your fiber, right? Make sure you're getting fruits, vegetables, all those things, but also cultures and different strains. You want to diversify the gut biome. And once you really get the gut biome going, you can ask yourself these deep moral questions, and your gut will always give you the right answer, okay? But this is not a guttist show, okay? This is all gut inclusive. We include all kinds of microbiome activity, okay? So I'm not alienating anybody with a different kind of gut. If you are struggling with asking yourself a gut question like this, I got you. Don't worry about that question. Just look over at the Geneva Convention. The Geneva Convention is a Western doctrine accepted by the international community that explicitly states that occupied people have the legal right to resist occupation under international law. This was written in Geneva, Switzerland. That's as Western as you can get. They were eating chocolate when they wrote that shit. They're like, yes, of course occupied people have the right to resist. It's very good chocolate, yum. So yes, if you can't ask yourself the moral question, just look over at the legal document. It's already written for you. So once you look at those two things, you realize that occupied people do both have a moral and legal right to resist occupation to regain their humanity, okay? So then you have to look a little bit deeper and ask yourself, why is it being stigmatized? Well, then you basically just trace this back to our $50 politicians. Our politicians are just, getting AIPAC sound bites to basically link all kinds of resistance to terrorism just so people can't be free for political, strategic, military-industrial complex, typical greed, imperialistic reasons. Very shocking, whatever. But that's what it is. Our politicians are largely responsible for this. Also, the media, the corporate media doesn't help put out any good information, nuanced information. And social media is also a culprit too. Social media has its own agenda. For instance, Meta. You might know this by now. The international symbol of Palestinian resistance is the upside down red triangle. Okay, some of you have seen this, some of you have it tattooed already. The upside down red triangle is simply an international symbol that means that Palestinians have the legal and moral right to resist their occupier, to regain their land and their basic humanity. That's exactly what it means. You can look into it more if you like. Meta is actively working to ban the upside down red triangle. Can you believe that? They're already starting to limit the visibility of posts who use it, and they're actively working to permanently ban the upside down red triangle. They're banning shapes, bro. Yeah, that's how desperate it's gotten. They're banning shapes. This offends me, not even as a Palestinian, but as a fan of Pythagorean theorem. You cannot ban triangles, bro. How else are the kids gonna learn the shapes? But I tell the activists, if they do ban the upside down red triangle, have no fear, move your eyes over to the red heart emoji. Take a good look at the red heart emoji, scroll your eyes to the bottom. Do you see what I see? At the bottom of every red heart is an upside down red triangle. It's a visual, it's pointed, it's right there. It's right there. So you can use that in your activism along with From Sea to Shining Sea, should things get there. You can flash the red heart. It's a lot more loving, obviously. It basically translates to, respectfully, Palestinians have the right to resist. That's why whenever people ask me, like, do you support Palestinian resistance? I'm like, from the bottom of my heart. And now, trust me, I understand it's difficult answering these dumb questions sometimes. I used to have difficulty answering dumb questions. Even like a year ago, people would message me and say things like, Sammy, why don't you tell your buddies in Hamas to release the hostages? Like I could just hit them up. Like, what's up, boys, if you're not too busy after work or whatever. I used to be very offended by that question. I used to be like, that's racist, just to assume that any Palestinian knows or is connected to someone in Hamas by like a degree of separation, you know? But now I see it differently, because, you know, like, it's been a year. Personally, my videos have been so circulated that statistically, probably do have a few fans on Hamas, you know what I mean? Like, probably got a few, you know, maybe not like on the front lines, but like back office Hamas, you know what I mean? Like, tech support side Hamas, like IT division Hamas, you know, like the guys that edit the videos, they know me, you know? This one guy messaged me, he's like, Sammy, does your tour fund Hamas? I was like, first of all, how did you know? Secondly, no, I'm not involved in the transferring of money to Hamas. That's more of Netanyahu's thing, actually, so I leave it to the pros. But the biggest critique I get is, Sammy, how come every time you talk about Israel-Palestine, you're so one-sided? You only seem to take the Palestinian side. Why is that? I'm like, I don't know, maybe because I'm Palestinian. Or because I'm a human who gives a f***. I don't know, like, it's a human issue. Like, yes, I proudly shout free Palestine. Who wouldn't if you believed in basic human rights? You know what I mean? Like, it's so basic. It's some basic bitch, as they would say. But I'm not up here calling for reckless violence or an endless war. I'm calling for a solution, and a real solution, and right now. Not another weapon shipment, right now. That's what any sane, balanced person wants, is a solution right now. So yes, I shout free Palestine, and my jokes are pro-Palestine, but keep in mind, I'm an American, which means I don't know what the f*** I'm talking about. And I'm an American who pays taxes, and those taxes go directly to Israel, so I'm kind of playing the field here, when you think about it. I'm sending my money to Israel, and I'm writing jokes for Palestine. What a great deal I'm giving them. I assure you, if my tax money was going to Palestine, I would do free Israel jokes. I'm very balanced like that. But alas, not how the Kanafi crumbles, okay? And some people have the audacity to come to my live shows and be like, you criticize Israel too much. It's like, bro, you paid for a ticket. And you paid taxes on that ticket. This is a fundraiser for the IDF. I can say whatever the f*** I want. Respectfully. But yes, for the last year, my tour has been called the Ceasefire Tour. Clearly not that effective, but we've been working tirelessly with our partners on the ground. You get it. Yeah, whenever people complain about a venue that I do, I'm like, we'll have them investigate themselves. But yeah, like, because I've been talking about it a lot in the last year, I've been like the target of a lot of hate and criticism, but most of it's online, so I feel safe. Another question that I get quite often is, Sammy, how come you so freely say ceasefire, you so freely say free Palestine, but you can't say bring them home? Why can't you say bring them home and talk about the hostages more? I'm like, okay, person who's been following me for like 5 minutes, I have talked about this before, you just didn't scroll down far enough, okay? Also, if you want to talk to somebody who doesn't talk about the hostages enough, Netanyahu is that way, okay? Okay? You know, but you have chosen to take your aggression out on a comedian. You have not chosen wisely. But I'll be very clear, and I'll make the universal statement that I've made once before. I'll make it again because it still holds true. And that is that we should not even be living in a world where people are taken hostage. That should not be a thing, okay? Being a hostage is a horrible experience that no one wants to go through. okay? And I think we often forget that. And I think we often forget that when people are taken hostage, somebody is taking them hostage. So it requires a host. And it's also very stressful for the host, too. And I think that we often forget about that part, you know? This is a both sides issue, by the way. I'm not talking about one side or the other. I'm just saying, it sucks being a hostage and it sucks being a host. It's very stressful. You gotta feed, take care of the hostage, et cetera, et cetera. That's why they're called hostages, because the host ages from the stress. Yeah. So that's probably not the answer you wanted, but that's why you don't talk to a comedian like that, okay? But I have no problem saying it. The situation is 360 degrees, okay? And that's why I have no problem saying bring them home. But you have to understand that when I say bring them home, I do mean all of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean all of them. Yes, the 100 or so Israeli hostages and the thousands of Palestinians being held illegally in Israeli prisons with no evidence, no trial. Thousands of them are children, aka widow Teowis. The widow Teowis, bring them home, okay? And while we're at it, those illegal settlers squatting on Palestinian land in the West Bank, let's bring them home too! Let's bring them home too! Right on back to Brooklyn, baby. Bring them home. And while we're at it, the astronauts stranded on the ISS, let's bring them home too, because it's really up that they're still there. Bring them home. I used to be a lot more careful about the things that I said. I didn't want to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but I realized that we don't have time for that shit anymore. Okay? There's a genocide going on. It needs to stop. And we need to speak the truth. You need to stay up to date. You need to speak the truth. You need to speak from the heart. Say respectfully before it. You'll be fine. Okay? We can no longer be held back by $50 8-pack sound bites, right? Because if you can pay somebody $50 to say them, they're not worth much. When you really look into the 8-pack sound bites, you realize most of them make no f***ing sense at all. There was a sound bite floating around in the last year saying that, oh, pro-Palestine protesters, we're going to deport you. That's right. Trump's going to get to office, deport the pro-Palestine protesters. Like, most of us are citizens. You don't think we know how the law works? You can't deport citizens, bruh. Especially Arabs, like most of us are lawyers. We know the fucking law. You can't just deport citizens, okay? No, what you're trying to do is you're trying to intimidate us and make us feel like we're not as American as we should be just because we give a fuck about people overseas. That's what you're trying to do. Well, I'll tell you what, I know this for a fact. I am way more American than a cheap senator who accepts bribes from a foreign nation. And while we're on that note, I'd like to give a shout out to my sponsors, Russia, China, North Korea. Thank you so much. Thank you for the sweet checks. We appreciate you. Iran, we see you, Iran. We appreciate the donation of the drone shipment. We appreciate the drones. We appreciate the drone shipment. It's stationed over Jersey right now. We're about to put it into action. We appreciate you. No, really the sound bites, they make no sense. Calling the college encampments, calling the pro-Palestine protests anti-Semitic. Get the f*** out of here. Get the f*** out of here. We're not taking that shit anymore. No. Do a little bit of light Googling, and you will see that Palestinians are Semitic. You didn't think we'd figure that shit out eventually? If you're gonna use words against us, make sure we don't have access to internet, okay? We can't look it up. It's a very quick Google search. Palestinians are Semitic. If you are pro-Palestine, you are pro-Semitic. End of fucking discussion. End of fucking discussion. If you need to explain to people, it's very simple. Semitic means Semitic people. Semitic people are people who speak Semitic languages. The three main Semitic languages are Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic. So unless you know Jesus Christ directly, you've been to one of his parties in southern Lebanon, okay? Unless you know Jesus, the Semitics that you know are the Arabs and Jews in your life, okay? Yes, yes. Check in on your Semitic friends. We're not doing too good right now. Give us a call before we become the next Saddam out there, okay? All right? Call your Semitic friends, okay? But the term Semitic is a racist term. It was coined in Germany, so you can already see where the problem started, okay? The term Semitic was coined by a German linguist so he could differentiate people of Middle Eastern origin with people of Aryan origin. It was a racist word from the start. And the term was popularized by Nazis. The term Semitic and the term anti-Semitic was popularized by Nazis. The only reason the term anti-Semitic still exists is because Nazis self-identified as anti-Semitic to make their hate sound more professional. And so it's because of Nazis that we still have that term. I'll tell you what, I will not have Nazi memorabilia wielded against me, especially when it makes no f***ing sense. Okay? Do you know how many years I just let the mind happen of calling a Semitic person anti-Semitic? Do you know what that f***ing did to me? It's like, you're gonna call a Semitic person anti-Semitic. It's like, what do I just equal to 0? Is it like matter plus antimatter? It's like calling a tomato anti-fruit. It's like, I'm fruit too, okay? Just because they put me in the salads doesn't mean I'm not down with the watermelons. You know what I'm saying? Okay? So no, I reject that term. If you want to talk about individual cases of hate and condemn hate equally, let's fucking do that. But that's not what's happening here. You have these sound bites that are designed to confuse people, and you look at them, they don't make any sense. Another refined sound bite they pass around is anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Okay? This one is mathematically invalid. It's a very quick proof. Okay? And keep in mind, I'm one of the most respectful people you'll ever meet, respectfully. Okay? I don't even call myself anti-Zionist because most people don't even know what the fuck that means. Most people have no fucking clue. Most people in this world have no fucking clue what Zionism means. I guarantee there's people in this room who have no fucking clue what Zionism means. Even Zionists don't know what Zionism means. Really, ask most people who identify as Zionists. They say, why are you a Zionist? What does it mean? Most of them will say, well, it just means I believe the Jews should have a homeland and should be safe. Well, that sounds awesome. Nobody's arguing with that in theory, but that's not what it is in practice. Ask Palestinians on the ground who receive Zionism. To them, Zionism means getting evicted from your home, watching your home get bulldozed, watching your family get locked up or killed, watching your whole entire community get bombed on a daily basis. So clearly they're going to see Zionism as something different than you. And then meanwhile, you got Jamaicans out there like Zion, Zion. So nobody knows what the f*** Zionism means. It's a meaningless term. Okay? But if we're going to go by the first definition, that it just means the Jews should have a homeland, then I'm the biggest Zionist out there. I'm Zionist number 1. Don't record this. I am Zionist number 1. I am the CEO of Zionism. If it's just about a Jewish homeland, okay? Because Florida is a beautiful state. And I will fight. I will fight to make it yours. It's a beautiful place. Yes, there's hurricanes. We'll build an Iron Dome. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. Okay? I'm all about Jewish safety, okay? But the moment you say things like anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, you're saying undefined word is equal to word that people don't know the meaning of, okay? You can't just do that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to say that if anybody questions Zionism, if anybody questions Israel, it makes them anti-Jewish. Here's the problem with that logic. It's that most of Zionists in this world, and I mean like 90% of Zionists in this world, are not even Jewish. 90% of Zionists in this world are Christian evangelicals. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Hallelujah! Yeah. Yes, and it doesn't matter what your race, your religion, your background is. If you know about the evangelicals, you gotta admit, those crazy, okay? They are some of the craziest on this planet. If you don't know about the evangelicals, let me tell you about these little angels, okay? The evangelicals, bless their heart, okay? They are Zionists. They are pro-Israel. Why? Is it for Jewish safety? No. Is it for human rights? No. No. The evangelicals specifically want Israel to be locked into place in the Holy Land and be big and strong as ever, specifically to fulfill a biblical prophecy in the scripture so that Jesus can come back sooner, bring Judgment Day, and do what? Rain eternal fire on all of us. What the What the actual what the evangelical is that? Who put these people in charge of anything? I would not let them drive my Uber. You understand me? But yet they have so much power in our government. They have a lot of power in our society. They have this massive, insane plan. Because it doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Jewish, or regular Christian. They think you're going to die on Judgment Day. They think you're all going to burn and they're going to be spared for some reason. I don't know what the fuck they're smoking, okay? But it's weird. They think everyone else is going to die, and that includes Israelis. This is the craziest part to me. Israelis are not even spared in this equation. I tell Israelis, I'm like, hey, you know about this, right? They're like, yeah, it's a little weird. We tune it out. What the How do you know about this too? I'm offended for you. That is so sick and twisted to want Israelis to be in the Holy Land, specifically to be the sacrificial lamb in the greatest end times Ponzi scheme of all time. You know what that is? That is anti-Semitic. That is the most anti-Semitic I've ever heard in my entire life. And it's real anti-Semitism because it affects Arabs and Jews equally. Meanwhile, Palestinians out here getting called anti-Semitic. We are not anti-Semitic because we don't want Jesus to come back. Frankly, we find that terrifying. We don't want Jesus to come back. And if he came back, he just loses his home. He's Palestinian. We don't want this happening to another person. We don't want Jesus to come back, okay? We are pro-Semitic. If anything, we want Moses to come back. That's right. We want Moses to come back. Because Moses got the Israelites to move. Can't we just get Moses to the West Bank like right now? Part the Atlantic Ocean, create a nice safe path back to Jersey, you know? But people are like, Sammy, you talk all this shit, man. You talk all this shit, but what is the solution? What is the actual solution? How do we solve this and get a real solution? I'm like, you're talking to me like I'm some kind of math major. The truth is, I do know the solution. I solved it many years ago using Pythagorean theorem. Because the solution is right there in front of us. It is. There's two classic solutions that have been put forth, and there's support for both, but there's resistance to both. Right? When people say two-state solution, a lot of people get upset. When people say one-state solution, a lot of people get upset. A lot of people say one-state solution, they have different states in mind. So I've done the math, I've crunched the numbers, and I've realized the only way forward is to literally piss everyone off at the same time. And that's why I'm going with a three-state solution. All right? Yeah. Most y'all ain't ready for that. 3. I one-upped you. It's a 3. It's not a 1 or 2. It's non-binary. It's a 3, okay? It's the third option, okay? Here's how it works, okay? We all know there needs to be a free Palestine, okay? That's why this situation has dragged on for so long. The Palestinians just want a home. Let's make a home for the Palestinians. Let's make a Palestinian state. Let's make a Palestine, okay? Let's make a Palestine. Yes, Americans will call it Phalistan. Whatever, okay? Baby steps. And that's just step one. Palestinian state. That's step one. At that point, we will effectively have 2 states. This is what a lot of people do not want. So immediately, we will insert a 3rd state right in the middle where black people can reclaim their land. We'll call it Wakanda, okay? Temporary name if needed, Wakanda, okay? Wakanda, all right? And Wakanda will be the dream state, okay? It'll be a fully black-owned business and country, okay? It'll count for a lot of reparations of past, okay? And once Wakanda is established, around it we'll build what's called Greater Wakanda. Yeah, and in Greater Wakanda, it doesn't matter your race, your religion, your background, you can go live in Greater Wakanda with equal rights, but like for real, okay? Yeah, we've tried this all around the world, especially in places like San Francisco, but it didn't work, okay? So we're going to try for sure in Greater Wakanda where people from all walks of life can live harmoniously with equal rights. And we'll make sure of this because we'll only allow more people in if they can prove they can live together harmoniously. And it'll start very small. It'll start tight-knit. But the more people who prove they can live harmoniously from all walks of life, we will allow the state to grow. We'll write it in the Constitution. If you can live peacefully amongst one another, the state will be allowed to grow. But it'll grow slowly, but it'll grow like our hearts. And it'll grow, and it'll grow, it'll grow, to the point where it even starts to surpass the boundaries of that region and start to encompass the whole entire world, at which point we'll realize, hey, we're all just human. There should be no boundaries between us. We should all be living side by side in peace, equality, and love. All under black leadership. Like, that's probably the best way to do it. So I already got the slogan, it's Wakanda forever, and might need to get a copyright on that, but I call it the three-state solution, and it achieves what eventually we want the goal to be. That's why I think it's a pretty solid solution. And it's also fluid too, because things could change and the state grows, so it's fluid, you know what I mean? So it's solid and it's fluid, you know what I mean? Yeah, and people there are gonna be eating a lot of hummus beans, okay? So it's gonna get a little gash, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's solid, it's fluid, it's gaseous. It's a three-state solution. And that's what I call completing the triangle, you know what I'm saying? A science joke for the end. I appreciate you being here with me tonight. I hit 17 years in comedy this year, and yeah, prime number. And my friend was like, damn, 17 years, why aren't you famous? I'm like, well, it's a choice, obviously. This was my 17-year plan, to be doing a TED Talk. And my friend was like, Sammy, you're a good comedian, but don't you want to be great? I was like, no, I just want to be good. Being good is so much easier to maintain, you know? We're living in a time where everyone wants to be great. You know, you see these kids on TikTok, like, I'm gonna be the greatest. I'm gonna be the greatest of all time. Like, of all time, you've been around 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm gonna be the goat. The goat? My family's from the Middle East. We eat goat. You know what I mean? You wanna be the goat, we'll eat your okay? That sounded dirty, but you know what I mean. We eat goat. We eat goat. Whatever, so well, brother, you know what I mean? What I'm saying is stop trying to be great. Being great is so self-centered. It's like, look at me, validate my greatness. It's like, no, how about you just be good? Be good to others. Be a good person. Be good to the world around you, and great things will come to you. Be good and receive great. Because being great, dumb as f***, respectfully, is not even a sustainable business model, right? Because if you're great, and then the next time people see you, when you come back to town next, and you're just good, well, it's still good. Good is good, but you've fallen from great, so now you're mid. You know what I mean? That's bad, no cap. Okay? Right? But if you're good, and then you're good, and then you're good, and then you're good, you're good. I don't want to be Alexander the Great. I want to be Sammy the Good. Okay? I'm not doing this to be great. I'm doing it for the greater good. Okay? I do want to be the GOAT, the goodest of all time. And that's why I'm running for president in 2036. And I'm gonna make America good again. Thank you so much. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. It means so much. Thank you.
Yeah, got everybody texting me. I'm on stage represented with the flag next to me objectively, and I'ma say this here respectfully. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. You can cut the check for me, I got the recipe. Don't you interrupt the set or try to heckle me. And best believe I say it twice, cause respectfully, Palestine will be free from the river to the sea.